On today's show, my satisfying menu showcases farm market favorites like plump blueberries, summer squash,
summer squash,
fresh mushrooms, and juicy tomatoes.
Oh, it tastes so good, good, good.
These ingredients combined with some pantry staples make a festive and delightful menu.
Then Juliana Hever, the plant-based dietitian, will join me in the kitchen.
Gonna have fun with it, make it
Woo!
artsy-fartsy.
Yeah, that is beautiful. So are you ready, set, risotto?
Jazzy, you're gonna be healthy with the Jazzy Vegetarian. Jazzy, so snazzy. We're gonna cook something healthy and light. Jazzy, so snazzy.
So join me in the kitchen right now.
We're gonna cook something healthy and light. That's right.
Get ready for risotto. The star of this hearty menu is mushroom and summer squash risotto, and constant stirring is not required, making this an easy dish to prepare for a weeknight meal. Then I'll get into the kitchen with Juliana Hever, and we're going to prepare her easy caprese appetizer. And then on the side, my romaine salad with creamy Dijon dressing. And then for dessert, vegan blueberry cheesecake squares. Start with a tasty nut and fruit crust, topped with a creamy filling and fresh blueberries. So stay tuned. It's all today, right here on Jazzy Vegetarian. Blueberry cheesecake squares. I've done this before, where I use tofu as the base to make a very tantalizing cheesecake. But these are little squares with fresh blueberries on the top. You're absolutely gonna love them. To tell you the truth, the first time I made this for breakfast. They make a really great breakfast treat. They're perfect for a buffet as well, but they also make a fantabulous dessert. So whatever you want to do with these blueberry cheesecake squares, you can serve them any time of day. Your family, your friends, really gonna love them, and they are so easy to do. I get so many emails requesting a gluten-free and a flourless pie crust, and something that doesn't have any sweetener in it, but also doesn't have any vegan margarine or any oil. This is really a great crust to use when you're doing something like this, a vegan cheesecake, but it will also work for a fruit pie as well. So you're gonna wanna add this to your recipe repertoire. And this is how we get started. 1/3 cup of raisins. You could also use golden raisins if you'd like. And then 1/3 cup of chopped raw almonds. Pop them right in there. 1/3 cup of raw, unsweetened, shredded, dried coconut. So this is an easy one. It's also easy to remember. It's just 1 to 1 to 1. In other words, 1/3 cup of the raisins, 1/3 cup of the raw almonds, 1/3 cup of the raw, unsweetened, shredded, dried coconut. So it makes it really easy to remember. And we're just going to start on low. We're actually going to roll this out. You're just going to pour this right out on to a large sheet of parchment paper. This recipe is in my cookbook. Now you see how this is just coming right together, just like regular dough would, coming into a nice ball. That's what you're looking for. Remember, we didn't add any shortening, we didn't add any oil. Look at my hands. That coconut and those almonds actually emit oil when they are processed and make it so we don't have to use any shortening in this recipe. So that's a great jazzy tip. Let me just wash off my hands. Now here comes the fun part. You see I have this all in a little ball, just like you would with regular dough. And you're just gonna press it down, put a little bit of unbleached parchment paper over the top. We're gonna roll this out into kind of a square so it fits into an 8-inch square baking pan. So just start rolling, turn it as you go so that it's gonna be roughly an 8-inch square. Doesn't have to be exact. Just keep turning it. And the parchment paper is keeping it so the dough doesn't stick to our roller. That's pretty good. All right, now we're going to take this off. Now you're going to kind of form this so it's going to fit right into the bottom of your 8-inch pan. You can do a little crust around the side. You're going to reform this once you put it into the pan. And we're going to use our parchment paper to help guide it into the pan. Now I just want to flip it over. Voila! And you just want to repress it right in the bottom of the pan, just like that. It's a nice thin little crust. And what's going to happen as it bakes is those almonds and that coconut, which have basically been ground into kind of a raw flour, they're going to cook together and make a very nice, very delicate crust for the bottom of these little cheesecake squares. Definitely want to make sure there's no holes in the bottom. And we don't have to pre-bake it. We don't have to do anything. All we have to do now is make our cheesecake filling. Blueberry cheesecake square filling coming up. And I got my old pal Tofu here. Hey, Tofu, how you doing? I love tofu. So many things you can do with it in the kitchen. But today, we're using it as our fantastic filling, which of course is a dairy-free vegan cheesecake. No eggs, no milk, and actually the filling is only 3 ingredients. What we've done is we've taken our extra firm regular tofu, 14 to 16 ounces of the tofu. You want to put it in a colander or a fine screen sieve like this and just put it over a bowl and look at all that water that comes out of it. So I'm just going to take my blender container and break the tofu up right in there. And you can also make this with firm regular tofu, but don't use silken tofu because it'll just fall apart and be a big runny mess. So that's a great jazzy tip. Pure maple syrup is what you want to use for this, and we have 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. You can either use grade A or grade B maple syrup, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we're just gently going to blend it until it's smooth and creamy in texture. So that is perfect. Almost like a very, very thick whipped cream. We're going to pour it over our crust. You're going to see how nice and thick it is. That's the consistency you're looking for. Ooh, yeah. We are going to spread this in a nice even layer, and you want to just leave a little bit of room between your tofu and the side of your pan so that the tofu doesn't stick to the side of the pan. And you do want to use a non-stick baking pan for this, so you don't have to oil it out. That's perfect. Well, that was easy enough. We've preheated our oven to 375 degrees, and we're going to bake this for about 25 minutes. Do check it at 18 to 20 minutes. You want it to be nice and firm to the touch. Then you're going to put it on a wire rack and cool it just for a few minutes before we add our topping. Next, it's my easy summer risotto. Jazzy vegetarian style, of course, so stick around. It's my vegan version of the classic risotto, and here's how it goes. We're going to start by peeling the squash. Normally, I would never peel a summer squash, but since we're using this squash in place of cheese in this recipe, we're going to peel it so that when it cooks, it's going to cook down and emit some of its moisture and just add a nice texture to this risotto. It's also going to add a nice color, too. Cut off the end. Now let's take a look inside and see if there's some seeds. You know, there are quite a bit of seeds in this, so we're going to get rid of those with my trusty grapefruit spoon. If you don't have any large seeds, you can just leave the seeds in. Risotto, of course, is a classic Italian dish. So we're going to dice this up so you have little julienne strips, and then we're just going to cut it right across. And we're just going to measure this out. What we want is 1/2 cup of our finely diced summer squash, which we have peeled and de-seeded. And that's going to add a beautiful texture and really stand in for the cheese in our veganotto today, or our vegan risotto. Alrighty, so let's get everything into our pot. I like to use a nice deep pot like this. You would traditionally use a flatter pot for risotto, but we want to be able to stir it less often. So that's going to make it so the water doesn't cook down so quickly. And I'm adding 2/3 cup of diced onion. Oh yeah, hear that sizzle there. And we're just starting with 1/2 cup of water. I'm not using any oil in this veganotto today. We're going to be cooking this over a medium heat. Now we're adding 8 ounces of diced cremini mushrooms. Toss them right in there and just stir it all together. That's smelling good already. Now what's going to make this super, super easy? It's my vegan bouillon cube. And they come wrapped in like a little silver wrapping, just like they're a little gift. Anytime you want to flavor something up in a flash, using a vegan bouillon cube works really well. I'm adding 1 crumbled vegan bouillon cube. That's going to add a great base flavor to our risotto today. Stir it all together. You're going to smell it already. Put the top on there, get that simmering away, and we're going to cover it and cook it over medium heat for about 7 minutes, or until the mushrooms and the onions are getting soft. And you're going to add a little bit more water as needed, about 2 tablespoons at a time if it gets dry. So do keep an eye on it. Even though we're not constantly stirring it, you do always want to keep an eye on your risotto. I smell that cheeseless cheesecake. It's time to get the blueberries on there. Let's get it out of the oven. Hot blueberry cheesecake, just out of the oven. Cheesecake, I love saying that. But of course, wait, that's not blueberry cheesecake squares. There's no blueberries. Gotta put the blueberries on. But before you do anything, just take a plain table knife, run it around the perimeter of your cheesecake squares, so they don't stick once you try to cut them later on. And I've got 3 tablespoons of apricot preserves. So what I'm adding all together is 1 teaspoon of filtered or spring water to 3 tablespoons of apricot preserves. All right, now while this is nice and hot, you just want to get these apricot preserves right over the top of these cheesecake squares. And you can see it's nice and hot, so the preserves are kind of melting over the top, and that's really what you're looking for. They're producing an instant glaze. Could you use strawberry preserves? Could you use raspberry preserves? Could you in fact use blueberry preserves? Yes, you could. So you do want to get this kind of in a nice even layer over the top. Now I've got some nice little plump but petite blueberries today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to arrange them right over the top of my cheesecake, all across there, all in a line, so that when we cut them, each person is going to have a beautiful little piece of cake with the fresh blueberries on it, and we're going to garnish it with a little bit of mint.
Blueberry, blueberry cheesecake squares. The crust is raisins, almonds, coconut too. The filling is tofu, maple syrup, vanilla extract too. The topping is apricot preserves with blueberries too.
You just want to finish it up Afterwards, we're going to cut them into beautiful little squares. We're going to kind of follow the pattern of the blueberries. Well, isn't that just so pretty? I'm going to cover this loosely, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and chill it for about 1 hour before I serve it. So let's get back to making our risotto.
But first, let's visit with Juliana Hever. She joined me in the kitchen the other day to make her easy caprese appetizer.
So we have 4 ingredients. We have tofu, tomatoes, basil, and a beautiful reduced balsamic vinegar. If you don't have the reduced balsamic, you can just use a good quality balsamic vinegar. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So how do we put this together?
So simple. So it's just like you would see at the restaurants, right? You just plate some tomatoes. And I love that we've contained the seeds because it has protein that's digestible and healthy fats. And it's got fiber, so seeds are good.
wow.
It's good to maintain the whole food when you
Can I take single leaves?
Yes,
All right,
exactly.
so let me do that for you while you're doing this. And tell us a little bit more about tomatoes. I know they have vitamin C. Am I right about that?
They actually have a lot of vitamin C, so they're wonderful sources of that. And they have those wonderful things called carotenoids, which become vitamin A in our body, very protective against cancer, cardiovascular disease, a very potent antioxidant.
What are we going to do with the basil?
So now I like the full leaf because I love basil.
I love that. This is
It's
fantastic.
so fresh in the summer, especially when you get like the best tomatoes,
One
you know.
more big.
Yeah, and I just kind of put as much basil. Actually, I like a lot of basil.
love that. Yeah, that's
these are
good.
nice leaves that you got here.
Pretty. We eat with our eyes first. That's the first thing we see when we look at our food. So particularly when we're cooking for omnivores, we've talked about this before. We want to make the food look really good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So especially if there's people that are questionable about tofu, you can make this really, really thin. So I just literally just plop it on top. I make this
that
all
is
summer
so
long.
fantastic.
It's like an appetizer
I love
before.
it when you have the leaf sticking out of the side.
Yes, I love, and
Yeah.
it looks like an Italian flag.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Same colors.
This is so beautiful. And maybe just a smaller piece in the middle,
Yeah,
right?
I kind of do crazy. Is that okay? We
You
can
could do
little
crazy.
fun- Okay.
Oh, we're crazy here.
So I just like to literally, I just kind of have fun with it, make kind
Woo!
of artsy
Oh,
fartsy a little
yeah, that is beautiful.
something like that.
Wow.
And voila, that's it.
That's jazzy.
How easy is that?
That's easy.
Okay, let's try it.
This easy caprese or,
Easy caprese.
yeah, whatever you want to call it.
I love eating like this,
So
Italian
I can
food.
just take a piece?
Just take a piece, make sure you get everything, a little of everything.
This looks amazing. Give it a try. Oh, look at your petite little bite.
I'll take a
My
bigger one
gosh.
after.
Nobody look at me, just look at her.
No, don't.
Mmm.
Do you like it?
Mmm.
That sounds good. Is that an affirmative?
You know, I love that. Reducing down that vinegar really does help to make this dish wonderful, and it really does help to flavor the tofu, which is what we want to do with tofu. Easy caprese or easy
Caprese.
with Juliana Hever, the plant-based dietitian. Let's check on our risotto. Oh yeah, that's coming along nicely. Those mushrooms are all nice and soft. The onions are nice and soft. And you see we're getting a great base for our risotto. It's smelling really, really good. And I'm adding 1 cup of arborio rice. Just want to stir it right in. At this point, I'm adding 1 cup of water. Simple as that. Just stirring that right in. We're going to cover it, bring it up to a simmer, and let it simmer over medium-low heat for about 7 to 8 minutes or until the water is almost absorbed. I smell my risottoing. Let's just check it out. Woo, yeah, that is perfect. You see, almost all of that water has cooked out, so all we need to do is add another cup of water. Give it a little stir. Cover it again and let it cook for, about another 7 to 8 minutes until that water is almost all the way absorbed into the rice. And then we're going to add our summer squash that is going to replace our cheese. Now let's get to our romaine salad with my creamy Dijon dressing. So you know I've used walnuts to make a creamy dressing before. Walnuts are wonderful in a salad dressing, and it's interesting because they look kind of brown, but they turn very, very creamy when you put them together with a few ingredients and blend them up. And this is what we're going to use. We're starting off with 1 cup of spring water, and then 3/4 of a cup of chopped walnuts. Ooh, the walnuts with the fresh romaine. It's really, really spectacular. then 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Then I have 1 scant tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Ooh, yeah. 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Just 1/2 teaspoon of a little bit of sucanat. You can use brown sugar, any dry sweetener you like. You can even use a little maple syrup if you like. Oh yeah, that is fantastic. That's a great dressing to have really on any green salad. Let's take a look at our risotto. I think it's time to add our squash. Sure smells good. Let's take a peek. Oh, that's coming along just beautifully. It's getting so nice and creamy. So far, this is only the 3rd time we've stirred it, so it's really a lot easier than your classic risotto. The mushrooms are going to make it almost so it has a little beefy or a meaty stock to it, which is really, really nice. But what we're using instead of cheese is 1/2 cup of diced summer squash, and that's going in right now. And we're adding another 1/2 cup of water at this point. Stir it around. Oh yeah. Well, we're going to cover this and we're going to let it cook about 7 to 8 more minutes until almost all of the water is absorbed. We're going to give it a little stir. Then we're going to keep it covered, remove it from the heat, and let it stand for 7 to 10 minutes. I guess it's time for me to plate up this spectacular meal for you. And then I get to taste it. Up next, it's Jazzy Vegetarian Risotto. Wow, that went along very, very quickly. We hardly had to stir, but look what we came up with. Something that looks and tastes much like a classic risotto. I just can't wait to taste it. And we've plated it up with a little bit of chopped parsley over the top. Forget about it. That is so good. It is so creamy. You really don't miss the cheese. Remember, we use that vegan bouillon cube to just flavor it all up. It's really flavorful, really filling, a great dish for family or for guests alike. Now, my salad. Look how pretty that is. I've got that nice creamy Dijon dressing that we did with those walnuts. I'm just going to give it a taste. Wow. If you're used to doing a creamy Italian dressing in the bottle or even a Caesar dressing in the bottle, try this. The walnuts get really, really creamy. That little bit of sugar, then that nice pop of lemon. Well, last but not least, dessert, my blueberry cheeseless cheesecake squares. Aren't they pretty? I've plated them up with a little summer strawberry. And if you want to do them on a buffet, you just want to line them all up like this. Let everybody take their own piece for themselves. But right now, I get to taste it. Wow, that beautiful crust beneath. Remember, we did that crust with just raisins and almonds and some coconut. Taste test. Wow. You'd never know there's not cheese in there. It is so creamy, so delicious. And that gluten-free crust makes it a wonderful choice if you are serving people who need to eat gluten-free. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me for my Ready, Set, Risotto meal. The next time you visit your local farmer's market and return to the kitchen with fresh ingredients, I hope these recipes will inspire. So until next time, be happy, be healthy, and be well from the Jazzy Vegetarian.
Visit our website at jazzyvegetarian.com to connect with Laura, see video clips, find your favorite recipes, and more. Follow Laura on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Laura Theodore's Vegan Ease includes all of the recipes featured this season and is available for $26.95. The cookbook is enhanced with over 200 beautiful full-color photos and features complete menu plans, shopping lists, and more than 130 recipes. For information or to order, visit jazzyvegetarian.com.